Also, I don't play defense.
ガースにディフェンスはない。ガースの辞書にディフェンスなし。
Attack me!
YouTube channel.
Welcome to Prost, a show of roasting pros. Who's roasting whom? Mostly everybody. Come along with us as we pick the best minds in the game to better understand all the things we do wrong.
Each week we are joined by one guest from JPML who will review one of the thousands and thousands of Reach Mahjong hands that are played online by streamers all over the world. And this week we are going to analyze overlordwhale's hands. overlordwhale, I'm sure that if any of you are on Twitch, you know who he is. If you don't, go give him a follow and some love. I actually had the opportunity to play with him in the JPML dojo last month live, but also you can catch me sometimes in his streams. He does a lot of analyzing while he talks, and he has a really great stream. So let's see if we can give him any ounces of advice, or if he already plays perfectly. Who knows?
Yes, and speaking of animals.
ずるい。私も連れてくればよかった。
We forgot to tell Kaori to bring hers.
Yeah, my cat just showed up. He was not invited.
That's the way they are. They don't need an invitation. But someone we have invited to today's show is our special guest, Kaori Shimizu.
Yay!
A lot like Otani, Kaori has also won a whole bunch of things. Most notable in Renmei would be Oisen, but also Pro Queen and the Women's League. She's also won Mondo's Women's League and the Mondo Championship and a few others, but we love her most as champion partier in the North Kanto League.
North Kanto League, yes.
Super huge partier. Right now you're like Nanadan, Hachidan?
5.
Go! Okay, but
Same as Gar.
She's 9-dan partier. 9-dan partier.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, welcome to the show.
Hi everyone. I'm Kaori Shimizu. I've been in USA when I was in high school for exchange student, but it's like 30 years ago. So I can speak English.
Very
Yoroshiku
good.
onegaishimasu.
Perfect. By the way, where did you live in the United States?
Idaho, Oregon. Half and half.
Idaho.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Off the
Potatoes,
grid.
famous potatoes.
Yeah, famous for potatoes. Yeah.
Yes. Car number, that's a famous potatoes. 車のナンバーに書いてある。
And also, it is where Kaori-san learned how to love tomato soup.
Yeah, I only can eat Campbell tomato soup.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. We should have a whole interview about that experience. Kaori-san.
I took things when I was in state. When I went to stay.
Yeah, it's a really good story. Okay, and that said, shall we get right into the hand? Let's check out overlordwhale's hands. Here we are in the south round. First hand, our hero, Whale, is the dealer. And he has 43,500 points. He's in first place. The Dora is the white dragon.
Starting points is 25,000, right?
This is actually an ARML game, so the starting points are 30,000 and there are no red. So the American Beach Mahjong League is a league that's played online on Tenho. And we have leagues in America, just like in JPML. So this A1 League, A2. This is the B3 League. Garth and I are also in the B3 League. When you get this starting hand, what's the first thing you think of?
そうだね。まあ、三蔵からじゃないの？三蔵。
何の前？
難をちょっとまだ持ちつつ、でも、親だからさ。親だから、まあ、これで、まあ上がれればさ、まあまたね、ちょっと他にトップの、あれが確立するから、あれだけど、まあ、正直、ぐちゃぐちゃじゃない。
うん。
まあ、あんまりなんか上がれそうな感じはしないから、まあ、3蔵ぐらい切っちゃっておいてもいいし、もっと、受けも考えながら進行するのであれば、9万か9ピンの統一から離すっていう手もある。本当に打ち手のタイプで、もう一回親で今ついてるから、攻めていこうと思えば何から切っていく。だけど、なんかちょっと今回あんま良くないなって。で、まあ、トイメンの人との点差も1万点ぐらいだから、ちょっと引き気味に、まあ、ドラもわからないし、打つかなっていうんだったら、まあ、9万9ピン切って、3蔵にくっつけばピンフになればっていう風に見る 手もあるかな。
That's a really good point because I think that a lot of people just discard the south and not even think about it. We just keep everything that looks like it might be useful here. But when you have too many blocks, then there might be other options that you can take. I mean, it does look like a really slow hand. You have to discard a lot of tiles. But he discarded the south. So we will go on with him discarding the south. And then he discards the 3 after. It's the same kind of thinking, but he just did it in a different order, I think.
Good choice.
And now we get to here, and he's trying to decide between the 9 of cracks and the 9 of dots. And he decided on the 9 of cracks, which I think I would also decide on because although it's not likely, there's still an option of a full straight there.
Yes. I love it. I love it too. So.
Oh, you love the Itsu hand, this full straight.
Me too.
Me too.
最高です。Good choice. なんか、そうすると9番だよね。
So this makes it a difficult decision. This shape, I think, is really hard for a lot of people. We have the 1, 3, 5, 5, 6, 7, 9. What do you think of here, Garth?
So first of all, for me, as much as I often like Itsu, I'm not thinking that I'm going to throw away the Ryanman in Pinzu. And I'm probably leaning more towards the idea of Sancho over here. If we draw the 5 of bamboos, I'm going to hold on to the 1, 3, 5 and give up on the 9 of cracks. I also like throwing the 9 of cracks earlier just because if we end up waiting on Manzu, which seems likely, then it just seems like it makes people feel a little bit easier about throwing the Manzu.
Okay, can you give us your insight, Kaori-san, about what you would discard here?
これはね、半分ガースと一緒。だから、やっぱり9万を切って、5万を引いちゃったんだよね。これが、まあ4万引いたら、まあ普通に、テンパイ取りますけど、2万引いたらそれはね、テンパイ取れる。だけど、5万を引いたらやっぱり135に受けたい。このリャンカンに。はもうやっぱり9万を切る。なぜなら、彼は第1弾に何を切ったんですよ。この曲も親番で、せめてさらなる加点を目指しての、まあ6ブロック。なので、目いっぱいに受けたんだったら、ここは9万を切って、相手より先に先制でリーチをしたい。そうするとやっぱトップ目の親のリーチに周りは向かってきづらいので、こうなったらもうがっつり早く攻める、早く先手を取る方法を取りたいんで、ここはもう9万を切るのがベストだと思います。
So let's see what he did discard. 1 of cracks. I think it's common. Maybe you don't want to discard 2 9s in a row.
Do you think he might be thinking of somehow moving towards Tanyao? I'm trying to figure out what the justification would be for giving up on that, and I can't.
I mean, it doesn't look very realistic, but he might be thinking about it. Do you see people make this discard a lot, Kaori-san?
1個ね、あるとしたら、トイメンの2着目のシャーチャがね、9万を切ってるんですよ。他の、まあ、両サイド、ペーチャ、なんちゃに打っても、1回でトップはひっくり返されないかもしれないんだけども、万が一、トイメンの、まあ、32,200持ちのシャーチャに打つと、1回でトップが変わっちゃうかもしれない。だから、トイメンの現物を持ちたかったがゆえに9万を残した可能性はあると思う。
なるほど。
そういう選択もあると思う。
Finding a reason for it.
本当よ、本当。
He might be thinking that.
やる。
That's the most scary person that you have to think of.
So to hold on to a safe tile for him, that definitely makes sense.
一発エスケープキーワード。
Okay, after we've discarded the 1, now the 7. Now in my case, I mean, I would definitely discard the 9 here. I don't see any other options really. I would definitely want to keep the 2 open-ended weights on the 6, 7, 7, 8.
どうだろうな。これね、さっき私が言ったように、2着目に一発で打たないように2着目の現物を1つ持つ。特に乱入してるんでね。もう後半戦で。それだと、現物で9万を残したいのであれば、シーソーをそのまま打っとく。もしくは、ピンフにしたいのであれば、まあその6級層、パス層のこの受け入れ、ここが自分的に感触が良くて弾けると思うのであれば、現物を持ちつつ2着目の、まあ3万を外していくっていう選択肢もある。まっすぐ行きたいなら、まあ9万打つ。ちょっと統一が寄ってきたと思うのはやっぱ一回9万を打って、もしかしたら統一になるかもしれないっていうところだね。
You said if you want to do this, then you should do this. If you want to do this, do this. How about you? How would you play this hand?
でも私の場合はさ、一回9万打ってるから、135になってるんでね。もうこの下の形がマンズの。なので、このチーソーはつもぎりますよ。もしくは1万を切る形。こう9万がない。だから今のこの現状で言うなら私はもう一回9万を打つんじゃないかな。です。
So if you had actually kept the 1, if he had kept the 1, then you would discard the 7. But since
そう、136か。
Since you kept the 9, then now it's time to discard the 9.
9万を切るか。どっちか。どっちか。Half and half.
Garth, what is, you look confused, Garth.
The 6, 7, 7, 8 feels like that's actually an easier shape to end up working into the possibility of Sanshoku.
Yeah.
Because now when we draw the 5, we still have
Mm,
open-ended weight
no?
in the Stosu, or if we get the 6 or 9 first, we still have a chance of drawing to the Sanshoku as an
3
open-ended
色
weight.
か。
Yeah, I see a lot of options for Sanshoku here. I guess the 3 and the 5 of cracks could end up a little bit dangerous, but I feel like if they end up dangerous later, I'm just gonna discard the 9 of dots to run away if I need to.
ああ、なるほどね。9金がでも遠い目に通るか分かんなくなるからね。
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Yeah.
難しい。
Also,
Yeah.
I don't play defense.
あ、ガースにディフェンスはない。ガースの辞書にディフェンスなし。
Attack me! Attack me!
Yeah, this does look like a really good chance for Sanshoku. The only problem is that these rules, with the A rules that we play in League,
ああ、いや。
I'm always looking for Sanshoku, but in these rules, Sanshoku is just like a lucky bonus. I really don't feel, because I always feel like reaching. I just want fast hands, you know.
But I'm not interesting about 3色。興味ない。I love it.
Yes, that's so like me until a couple months ago. Like the last 3 or 4 months, suddenly my mind is just all like, oh, this turn into Sanshoku, could this turn into Sanshoku? But for 10 years, that's always the way I played.
Let's see what happens. So he discarded the 7 of BAMs. Already discussed like what. And the 3 he's already discarded. I mean, like when I get to this point in the wait, okay. When I get to this point in the game, if I'm in first place, especially as the first dealer, I am always so scared that somebody's gonna take my first place away. Okay. Now he's Tenpai, waiting for the 4 of cracks. So a gut shot, middleweight. Does he reach or not? To reach or not to reach?
It is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This is Kaori Reach?
Yes. だって、
Okay.
順目が早いでしょ。で、この形って、ローマン引く以外って別に変わりようがないんですよ。だったら、ただね、まあドラが2枚切られてるんでね、相手に当たっても、そう高い点になる可能性はまあちょっと半分減ってるでしょ。半減してる。なので、ここはリーチって言って、相手を惑わせて、トップ目の親リーに向かってこれるのかっていうところでリーチします。
Lately, I play weak and then I end up losing because I play weak.
怖いでしょ、
Yeah.
トップ目の親のリーチ。
Yeah, that's a great idea.
踏み込んでね、爆発したくないんで。
It's important to use your turn at dealer to try and control other people.
I guess in the end, it's similar to, say, the idea in poker where you want to be the aggressor.
うん。
You want to be the aggressor. You want to make somebody else have to make the wrong decision. If you're aggressing, okay, you've already made your decision. It's over for you. Like, oh, okay. If
Yes,
you guys
yes,
want to come at me, then fine.
It is.
But then it's up to them to make the decision.
That's it. It is.
Okay.
Nice idea. I keep learning the same lessons over and over.
So he does not reach. He just discards the 9. Is
doesn't?
waiting
Oh,
waiting for
interesting.
something. Or so now he
Seven or-
right. So he discards the 4 of dots, which he already has, and that's Tsumogiri reach. So he just discards it and reaches. What was the point of waiting? I mean, I do this. I do this play a lot, and I always ask myself, why did I even wait?
I do
But
exactly the same thing too.
どうですか？
これはもうカモン6万ですよ。一巡。カモン6万。
で来なかった。
来なかったら、このリーチは大丈夫？
大丈夫。即リーチ言っちゃってもよかったんだけど、まあ一巡ぐらいちょっともしかしたら両面にって。まあでもね、9万切っちゃってるし、1万切っちゃってるから、両面変化してもまあちょっと振り点とかになっちゃう可能性も高いし、あれなんだけど、まあ一巡だけローマンを引くのを待ってみよう。だけどこれ以上多分ダマ点にしてると、両サイドのがドラ切ってきてるから、そこに攻められちゃう前にリーチしとこうかなっていう感じかな。
Do you think reaching with the tile that you just drew, the Tsumogiri reach, does it make the dealer look weak? Would Karagiri be better? Or how does it make the dealer look? If you see a dealer do this, then what do you think of the dealer?
つもぎりリーチは、待ちが悪いのか最終形じゃないのかっていうのがまず一つ。それと、もう本当は親マンぐらいダマ点であるんだけども、一巡ダマ点で拾おうと思ったけど、出ないから、じゃあもう積もりに行くか、6000オールを引きに行くかっていう大きな手と、2パターンあると思うんですよ。なので、どっちを見極めるかっていうところなんだよね、そこは。
From these discards, do you think the other players would be able to tell?
これはね、ピンズが、その数ピンのつもぎりリーチのだけのピンズになってる捨て牌になっちゃってて、実際手は安いんだけれども、捨て牌だけを見たときは、シート1なのかなとか、1巡目が自敗なんで本1はないかもしれないけど、シート1とかそういうのでもしかしたらちょっとなんかちょっとね、変則手の捨て牌に見えるんですよ。なので、相手はすごい困ると思う。だから、私がさっき1番と2番の言った、相手の判断だと2番の方のある程度手が高いとか、なんだけど、まあ、街の良し悪しはわかんないですよ。手高いんだけど、一巡出なかったから、じゃあリーチに行こうって思った。 っていう風にかなっていうのがある。この捨て牌から見るとね、すごくね、向かっていきづらいと思う。まあ、ドラ2枚切れてその後、まあ自分の手の内にドラあれば大丈夫なんだけど、もしドラがまだ山にいた場合は、チートイドラの可能性っていうのをちょっと考えますね。自分言ってたら相手
So
です。
in that case, it's a really good reach because you're really like putting pressure on the other people and kind of scaring them. Not sure why it's blurry.
I guess at this point we're just watching to see whether he wins it or not.
Okay, so yeah, now we're just waiting to see what happens. And I also wanted to, my last question for this hand basically is, when you're playing this as dealer, you've reached, and you're watching the other players, how much are you looking to see if they're folding, or are you just like checking out at that point?
いや、やっぱりね、まあ別に見ないんだけど、もうどうしようもないからね、リーチしちゃったら。だけど、強い牌を打ってきた人はやっぱ見るよね。だからやっぱり一番怖いのは、この2着目の人、シャーチャの。まあ、リャンマンとか打ってきてるんですよね、これ。なんで、リャンマンは裏筋なんで、まあ、危険牌ですよ。4巡目に今打ってるんで、普通に。まあ、特殊手役でなければ、リャンマンは危険筋になるので、2着目の人のが来てるの、やだな、安いリーチなのにっていう気持ちになる。今、この状況で。
Garth, do you ever look at other people's hands after you reach, besides looking for your own tile?
Yeah, I find myself doing that. And I guess I was just thinking, like, what should I be doing when they throw out some expensive tile like that? Like some asshole.
I think it can be good practice since you have nothing to do. It's not that I'm actually actively doing this, but I always think that I should be kind of watching to practice reading hands when I have nothing to do, because it's a lot harder to practice reading hands when you're not reached, when you have to actually think. I don't, but I should. When you're not in a hand, you should watch other people, how they play.
なるほどね。
Oh, there's the row one that we were talking about. Oh, and now it's blurry
あ、
again.
見れなくなっちゃった。
Yeah, it's split.
あ、でも
Really just hoping that nobody decides to reach after this, huh?
It was coming really strongly.
ただ私はこれで安心した。
Let's talk about that for a
So
second.
it can't get really expensive, right? I mean,
そう。それ。だってもう仕掛けてドラ2枚切れてるから絶対高くない。仕掛けてくれて、しかも単ヤオの仕掛け。ドラが白。めっちゃ安心。これで一瞬でこの2着にマークられることなくなったんで、こうなったらもうこんな愚形リーチでも怖いものなしですよ。
So now we can just sit and enjoy, and now he cons, and we have 2 extra Doras. So this is something that we really see a lot in ARML is there's a lot of Daiming con. There's a lot of cons from discards. There's a lot of extra Dora, so there's a lot of inflation.
流行ってるんだ。責任払いだったらこれカンするのありだよ。ここに払う、トップ目が払ってくれるから。でも、こっちはリーチだから、裏ドラが増える分、こっちは単ヤオの仕掛けで多分ドラがないから、リスキーな感じ。
But I think this is a good example for how when you do cons like that, you're really just mostly giving other people Dora. In this case, it gives the dealer Dora. Especially when you can't reach. The con Dora is only worth half as much.
いや、カンドラは自分にも乗るかもしれないけどね。ちょっとだけやっぱり分が悪い賭けというか。
But it's only 25% chance good for you.
そうだね。
75% chance
そうだ。
good for somebody else.
ちょっとリスクが。
I very unprofessionally complained about it in a B3 game. And I got very good comeuppance about it.
We just end in Tenpai. Player across from us was waiting for the 5-8 of dots. The player to our right was actually also Tenpai but not reach, waiting for the 6-9 of dots.
なるほどね。
All the 4s were being used up.
In the end, it was kind of an uneventful hand, but there were certainly points about it that made it interesting.
Thank you so much, overlordwhale, for letting us just completely tear your hand apart. But actually, he plays really well, and he has I don't think he played this hand terribly either, and it's just there were a lot of talking points to go with this hand. We definitely recommend watching him on Twitch.
素晴らしかった。
Oh yeah, like and subscribe, please, right now. Hurry up. Why didn't I tell you to do that when it started? Kaori-san, do you have any
Also-
plugs?
ツイッターやってます。ここフォローしてください。
Hey, okay, we'll put it there.
だいたいご飯とか、ご飯のツイートが多い。
Really?
Nice.
Gohan?
自分で作ってない。
Guys, maybe you forgot, but Kaori and I are like the same person. Don't like to cook, just want to eat and play with dogs and play mahjong.
よろしく。
Also, if you would like to have your hands torn apart by one of our pros, you can message Jen about that.
Yeah, you can DM the YouTube channel or find us on Discord or Twitter or Instagram.
Yeah.
Or I'm Mahjong Jen, MHJONG. Oh, right here. And he is Garth E.
And I think that's it for today's show. Yes.
That's it.
Thanks to Kaori for partying with Prost. And thanks to all of you for watching. And be sure to join Jen and me and Kaori again on the next episode of Prost on our journey to someday finally get enough advice to play like a pro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Game over.